It was 2:15 a.m. when my phone buzzed on the nightstand, lighting up the dark bedroom. I picked it up, half asleep, expecting a simple, "I'm on my way home." Instead, I read a message that snapped me fully awake. "If you don't like it, break up with me." Beneath it was a blurry photo of nightclub lights and laughing faces. No explanation, no context, just pure defiance. I sat up slowly, my heart pounding. Yet, my mind felt strangely clear. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It wasn't an accident. It was a challenge, an invitation to argue, beg, or explode. Months of tension suddenly clicked into place. The late nights, the growing distance, the way respect had slowly turned into entitlement. I didn't respond right away. I stared at the message, surprised by how calm I felt compared to the anger I expected. That calm unsettled me. It meant something inside me had already shifted. She wasn't asking for understanding. She was daring me to react. And for the first time, I chose not to give her what she wanted. I set the phone down and sat in silence, listening to the quiet hum of the house. No shouting, no pacing, just stillness. I realized how exhausted I was. Not of her, but of constant emotional tests. That message wasn't about freedom or fun. It was about power. She wanted reassurance through rebellion, control through provocation. I thought about all the times I had swallowed my discomfort to keep the peace. All the nights I convinced myself respect would return on its own. Slowly and deliberately, I stood and walked into the living room. I turned on a small lamp and looked around at the life we shared. Photos on the walls, shoes by the door, signs of commitment that suddenly felt one-sided. That's when I knew arguing would change nothing. Words wouldn't matter tonight. Only clarity would. I picked up my phone again, not to send a message, but to make a choice that was precise, undeniable, and calm. Once I decided, I didn't hesitate. I walked to the hallway mirror and looked at myself. Tired eyes, steady hands, a face that finally looked resolved instead of confused. Then I went back into the bedroom, opened the drawer, and took out my wedding ring. I placed it on the bedside table beside her empty pillow and snapped a single photo. No caption, no anger, just the ring clearly visible, resting where she should have been. Then I sent it. That was all. No explanation, no argument. Just one image carrying the weight of every boundary she thought she could cross. I put the phone down and waited. I didn't need to imagine her reaction. I knew it was coming. Silence lingered for a few minutes. Then my phone began vibrating. Calls, messages, panic masked as confusion. What is that supposed to mean? Are you serious? I didn't reply. The photo had already said everything. For the first time that night, I felt in control, not of her, but of myself. And that shifted the balance completely. 7 minutes later, frantic knocking echoed at the front door. Not playful, not careless, just panic. I glanced at the clock. 2:32 a.m. She had come straight home. When I opened the door, she stood frozen, eyes wide, club makeup smudged, jacket halfen. She looked past me into the house as if hoping the photo was some kind of trick. "What was that?" she asked, her voice trembling. I calmly stepped aside and let her walk in. No yelling, no accusations, just space. She saw the ring exactly where it had been in the photo. Reality hit hard. Her confidence evaporated. The nightclub attitude was gone, replaced by fear. She started talking fast, explaining, justifying, minimizing. I let her finish. Then I said quietly, "You told me to break up with you if I didn't like it." Silence settled over the room. "I believed you," I added. That single sentence landed harder than any insult ever could. She broke down almost instantly, saying she didn't mean it, that she was angry, drunk, and frustrated. She admitted she expected me to argue, to threaten, to demand she come home. That confession said everything. She had expected chaos, not consequences. I told her calmly that respect doesn't disappear because of alcohol, and boundaries don't pause just because it's late. The text she sent wasn't a joke. It was a line drawn, and lines once crossed don't vanish simply because regret arrives. She begged me not to make a decision in the middle of the night. I told her the decision wasn't made at night. It had been forming over months of disrespect that finally became impossible to ignore. My calm response frightened her more than anger ever could. Anger can be bargained with. Calm certainty cannot. We sat at opposite ends of the couch as the adrenaline faded. She asked if I was really done. I didn't answer right away. Instead, I said something simple. I won't compete with a nightclub for my own marriage. That sentence ended the conversation she wanted to have. She cried harder, realizing she had completely misjudged me. She thought silence meant tolerance. She thought patience meant weakness. I explained that my silence had been observation and my patience had limits. I wasn't punishing her. I was choosing myself. That distinction mattered. For the first time, she wasn't controlling the moment. She was facing it. The days that followed were quiet and heavy. We talked honestly, sometimes painfully. I didn't rush forgiveness or decisions. I focused on clarity. Friends later told me they couldn't believe how calm I'd been. But calm wasn't accidental. It was earned through exhaustion. I learned something powerful that night. People often push boundaries not because they want freedom, but because they don't believe you'll actually walk away. When they realize you can, panic replaces confidence instantly. That realization changed how I saw everything, not just our relationship, but myself. At 2:15 a.m., she dared me to break up with her, believing words sent from a nightclub carried no weight. She was wrong. One photo sent calmly carried more truth than any argument ever could. Watching her stand at the door minutes later, shocked and unprepared, showed me how fragile entitlement really is. That night taught me this. You don't need to shout to be heard. Sometimes the quietest response delivers the loudest reality. And once reality arrives, nothing is ever the same.